Kizuna. He's a kinda clueless, useless, pervy high schooler whose main hobby is watching hentai. But after Earth gets attacked by aliens, that exact hobby gives him the most important power in the world, the ability to make girls feel good in order to save the planet. Sounds like a great plot, right? So here's the deal. Humanity is at war with aliens from another world. A ton of countries have been totally flattened and the population is dropping fast. But weirdly enough, the only people who can fight these enemies are a group of girls using special heart hybrid gear. The catch? This gear runs on batteries and they drain fast, so they constantly need to be recharged to get back to full power. And how do they recharge? You guessed it! They use Kizuna's special ability. He has to pleasure these girls to get their power levels back to full. Yeah, makes you jealous, right? Let me know in the comments. This whole mess started 15 years ago when a portal from another world just popped open and enemies poured out. Earth wasn't ready and countries just got wrecked. The aliens only needed 2 weeks to pretty much destroy the world. To stop humanity from being totally wiped out, the survivors created special gear to fight back. But only girls can use it, so all the guys are just unemployed, I guess. Well, except for Kizuna, who suddenly just became very useful. One day, Kizuna transfers to a special academy called Ataraxia, which is a place that trains people to fight these otherworldly creatures. Kizuna's older sister, Rizz, just so happens to be the commander at Ataraxia, and thanks to the power of nepotism, Kizuna gets in even though he's a total moron whose only skill is watching hentai. The moment he arrives, he sees this beautiful girl standing all by herself. He yells at her not to jump into the ocean, but she just gets pissed at him for being a know-it-all. Turns out, this girl is the strongest student at Ataraxia. Her name is Aine. They barely get to talk before an alarm blares. The academy is under attack. And then suddenly, Aine just starts stripping in the middle of the field. Kizuna immediately panics, thinking she's into him. Bro, your mind is so in the gutter. Turns out she's just equipping her heart hybrid gear to fight the enemy. And after a transformation sequence that I'm pretty sure is gonna get me demonetized by YouTube, Aine flies off to open the battle. But her energy is already running low. Because of that, she loses, and her gear starts to disappear. Seeing this, Kizuna equips his gear to save Aine as she's falling from the sky. But Kizuna's gear is just as weak as he is. He saves her in a rolling crash landing. And then, seeing Aine's body, now completely without gear and not wearing a shred of clothing, Kizuna just visibly tries to control himself. Suddenly, Rizz contacts him and orders him to save Aine by embracing her, to make her feel good. Kizuna acts all shocked, even though this is literally his life's dream. He says he's too innocent and doesn't know how, but after Rizz threatens to tell their mom about his hentai stash, Kizuna finally agrees and performs the therapy. And it works. Aine wakes up, her power completely full. But when she sees Kizuna's super thirsty face, she clocks him. Realizing her power is back, Aine flies back to the battlefield and just wrecks all the enemies until they run away. She even feels like her power is stronger than ever after that therapy session with Kizuna. Rizz is satisfied. Her plan worked. She realizes the key to humanity's victory is Kizuna. The more girls he pleasures, the higher their chance of winning against the aliens. Man, what a tough job for Kizuna, right? The next day, Rizz introduces Kizuna to the other students at Ataraxia. Our lucky MC gets to sit with the strongest all-girl team named Amaterasu. Rizz explains Kizuna's special ability, and she orders all members of Amaterasu to undergo therapy with him. The other students in the room just go hysterical.
And so the happy-go-lucky life of our lucky MC begins. He barely even wakes up and Aine is already at his door asking for therapy. Before he's even done with her, another girl with pigtails, Hayaru, shows up, also asking for therapy. The two of them start fighting over Kizuna, and the fight gets so bad it blows up his room. The next morning, in class, Kizuna is cornered by a blonde girl named Eurycia, who also wants therapy. Oh, this one's a heavy hitter if you know what I mean. Luckily for Kizuna, he's still able to control his anaconda and manages to turn her down. But then Kizuna gets called to Ray's office. She tells him to stop being so shy about performing the therapy because the future of the world is in his hands. And she also knows this has been his dream since he was a kid. After that, Kizuna, Aine, Hairu, and Eurycia sent on a special mission. These 3 girls are basically the top-ranked players at Ataraxia. They're all super strong, and Kizuna, of course, is just seen as a portable charger for their gear. They run into an enemy and a strange power separates the group. Eurycia ends up alone with Kizuna, but because our MC is just a total burden and getting in the way, Eurycia just tells him to get lost. But as her battery starts to run out, the enemies just keep coming. Eurycia's armor disappears and she's about to be killed by the enemy. Luckily, our burden MC comes back to save her, but being as weak as he is, he gets knocked out in one hit. He tries to act like a hero and tells Eurycia to escape, but then his hand accidentally lands on Eurycia's watermelons. And just like that, she's back on her feet, power returning. Thanks to that scandalous beachside moment, Eurycia's power is completely full. She easily defeats all the enemies and wins the battle. After they get back, Aine and Eurycia are both asking to be pampered by Kizuna. It seems like after they feel the benefits, they're addicted. All for the good of the country, of course. But Hairu, she is still on the fence, acting all shy. She seems to be the most innocent of the 3. She wants to get to know Kizuna better before she lets him pamper her. But then when she accidentally hugs Kizuna while they're walking together, boom, she powers up too.
The next day, Aine brings Kizuna a bento box and he eats the whole thing. But then, Aine says there's one more meal left. Turns out, Aine is telling Kizuna to eat her watermelons. Kizuna panics, being asked to do that right out in the open. But Aine insists, because she wants that overpowered feeling and she doesn't want to lose to Eurycia and Hairu. So, with great reluctance, but also he totally wants to, Kizuna complies. But right as she's powering up, Kizuna stops. It seems like he's put off by Aine's totally deadpan expression during the therapy session. Kizuna says he can't do it with Aine if she's just using him. Yeah, Kizuna, now you suddenly have standards even though this is your life's goal. After that, Rary explains the secret of the hybrid gear to Kizuna. Turns out their mom is the one who invented the gear. But since the armor could only be used by girls, their mom modified Kizuna's body so he could equip a gear too. And even though Kizuna's gear is weak, it has the special ability to recharge other people's gear. Wow, Mom of the Year right there. Rary also says that if the gear's energy runs out, the pilot dies. Before Kizuna, the only way to recharge was to sleep and rest, which takes forever. But getting charged by Kizuna, well, it's fast and it feels good. Kizuna, not wanting the girls to die, promises to use his powers to the max so they never run out of energy. What a noble goal. Not long after, Ataraxia is attacked again. This time, the enemies are swarming. They brought their whole country. Team Amaterasu is having a hard time. But Kizuna was forbidden from joining the fight by his sister because he's too weak. His job is just to service anyone who's injured and needs a recharge. This time, Aine is the first one to lose and return to base. Her energy is almost totally gone because she failed to recharge with Kizuna yesterday, but she still wants to go back to the battle. Even with the awkwardness, she doesn't want to lose to Eurycia and Hairu. See, Aine was an orphan, found by Kizuna's mom. Her only purpose in life is to fight, so if she can't fight, what's the point of living? The truth is, Aine desperately wants to be recharged by Kizuna, but she's traumatized by what happened yesterday. She even researched how to make a guy interested, but Kizuna was just being difficult.
Aine feels useless now. Our naive MC suddenly feels guilty and starts holding her face. And to make the recharge faster, he lays her down so he can make her satisfied and get her energy back to full. This time, Aine becomes even more overpowered and unleashes a new weapon. She's able to defeat all the enemies with a single ultimate move. Sometime later, Rary shows Kizuna a new invention called the Love Room. In this room, They can simulate any background and even change costumes however they want. Rary wants Kizuna to use this room to make his charging smoother. So what does he do? He immediately invites Eurecia for a staycation in the love room. He changes the background until he finds the one that makes Eurecia the happiest. And because the atmosphere is so good, their charging this time is a massive success. In fact, it's so good that Eurecia's gear energy goes way past full. But because he's a guy, right? Right after he's done with Eurecia, he immediately invites Hayuru to the love room. But this innocent girl, once again, rejects his offer. Then, Rary gets a report of a mysterious signal from an island. Team Amaterasu is sent to check it out. But they find a mysterious girl also using gear named Aldea. Turns out, Aldea is an enemy from the other world. And this Aldea is overpowered. She summons a three-headed dragon that makes Team Amaterasu run for their lives. Luckily, Aldea's gear is also low on battery, so she can't chase them. Back at base, Hayuru says she wants to fight that three-headed dragon again. Seems like she's got some personal beef with it. Rary tells her no, so Hayuru gets upset and storms off. That night, Hayuru goes alone to fight Aldea. But Aldea just toys with her, and Hayuru is completely defeated. Just as she's about to be killed, her team suddenly shows up to save her. Good thing they knew she'd be dumb enough to come back. In the fight, Aldea sees Aine and feels a sense of familiarity, so she starts attacking Aine brutally to confirm something. Meanwhile, the others are busy fighting the three-headed dragon. But then, Rary shows up in a helicopter carrying the love room.
Kizuna quickly brings the knocked-out Hayuru into the room. But before we get to the part you're all waiting for, we get a quick flashback. Turns out, Hayuru has a painful memory of this dragon. She fought it once before and lost. As a result, a lot of civilians died. Hayuru has never forgiven herself, and she swore she'd get strong enough to get revenge for them. This, of course, is Kizuna's chance. He offers his help. He tells Hayuru if she wants to get stronger, she just has to do what he says. Hayuru immediately falls into Kizuna's arms, and after falling for his seductive trap, Hayuru's power is fully restored, and she unleashes a new weapon. She easily one-shots the three-headed dragon. After that, they all gang up on Aldea. Feeling cornered, Aldea summons a portal to call her friends for a gang fight. But, oh yeah, Team Amaterasu also has a circle. A backup team from America shows up to help them. Aldea's boss gets scared and decides to retreat. Team Amaterasu wins. Turns out, the American team are Eurecia's old teammates, and somehow the American team already knows about Kizuna's special charging ability. As a result, all those new girls all transfer to Ataraxia and immediately start trying to get Kizuna's attention. Eurecia gets pissed seeing them. But then, Scarlet straight up kidnaps Kizuna and takes him to the changing room for a recharge. For the first time, Scarlet feels Kizuna's power. Eurecia is furious and just goes home. Kizuna feels like Scarlet and Eurecia are actually really compatible, but he's confused why they're enemies. Scarlet explains they used to be on the same team, but during a mission, Eurecia betrayed Scarlet to get a promotion, and that's why they're enemies now. Meanwhile, back at the enemy base, Aldea is reporting to her boss, a woman named Gravel. After hearing the story, Gravel decides to go to Earth and personally fight Team Amaterasu. So this Gravel is way more overpowered than Aldea. She easily defeats the Ataraxia students. Team Amaterasu, now helped by Scarlet, shows up to gang up on Gravel. But Gravel is totally unfazed and defeats them all, by herself. Luckily, Gravel's gear drains really fast when she's on Earth. If not, Team Amaterasu would have been slaughtered. Since she's satisfied with wiping the floor with the main characters, Gravel just goes home. Rayuri starts trying to figure out how to beat these insane girls from the other world. The researchers at Ataraxia finally find a way, but once again, the method is completely absurd. Kizuna has to charge two girls at the same time.
Man, you're so lucky, Kizuna. Naturally, Scarlet and Eurycia are assigned the task. According to Rayuri, they have a mystery between them, since they were on the same team, so they should be able to do it. Later, while the three of them are in a sauna, Eurycia finally explains. She says she never intended to betray Scarlet. The enemy they were facing was so strong, Eurycia was afraid her friends would die. So she sent them to another location and lied, saying there were enemies there. She just wanted them to be safe. But it turns out there actually were enemies at that other location. Scarlet was seriously injured, and so Eurycia was accused of sacrificing her friends. Finally, the misunderstanding between these two touch-starved girls is resolved, and the charging proceeds successfully and brutally. After they all power up, the three of them gain insane new abilities. So when Gravel and Aldea attack again, Scarlet and Eurycia are ready. They defeat Aldea easily, but Gravel is still stronger and defeats Team Amaterasu again. Seriously? You did a 3-in-1 and you still lost? At the last second, Kizuna unleashes his hidden power. His gear used to be weak and just a charger, but after charging all the girls, Kizuna can now use the powers of every girl he's ever pampered. Kizuna immediately uses all of their ultimate weapons to attack Gravel, and unbelievably, the attack works. It knocks out Gravel, and she's forced to retreat. Thanks to Kizuna, Team Amaterasu finally beats Gravel. Since Kizuna showed up, the tide has turned. Humanity can finally fight back, and the chance of retaking the Earth is way higher.
Knowing her soldiers lost, the general from the other world, a woman named Zell, starts to worry. She decides to bring her elite troops to attack Earth. Meanwhile, Kizuna finds Aldea, who's all upset. It turns out, every time Aine gets intimate with Kizuna, she gets flashbacks of her past, and it scares her. That night, while cuddling with Kizuna, Aine again remembers her childhood. She screams in terror, and at the exact same moment, the enemy forces attack. And plot twist, the army is being led by Kizuna and Rieri's mom. So, it turns out, 7 years ago, their mom disappeared and went to the other world. As the smartest scientist, she left Earth to study the other world's technology. Rieri orders Kizuna to get their mom back, but it's just a hologram. Their mom says the real enemy, army, is heading for Japan and tells Team Amaterasu to go there. Back at base, Rieri tells Kizuna that for years, someone has been secretly leaking her tech info from the other world, and the hybrid gear they're using is the result of those leaks. And Rieri is convinced the person leaking the info is their mom. The other world's tech is ancient, and no one could figure it out, but Kizuna's mom could. So she's treated like a hero by the people of the other world. But Rieri still doesn't know what her mom's real plan is, so she tells Kizuna to be careful. And before the war in Japan, Kizuna is asked to pick one more new girl to join Team Amaterasu. Kizuna chooses Sylvia, who is super cute. Sylvia, who's already a huge fan of Kizuna, is ecstatic to be invited. She immediately agrees to a staycation with Kizuna and successfully gets a ton of hybrid energy. The American team is also ready to help, and even though they didn't get charged by Kizuna, their spirits are just as high. But right as they're about to leave, Ataraxia itself is attacked. The other students decide to hold them off while Team Amaterasu heads to Japan. Now, Japan was completely destroyed 15 years ago. The main island was abandoned. But when Kizuna's team arrives in Japan, he's shocked to see a normal, bustling city, like nothing ever happened. Psych! It's all fake. The entire city is an illusion created by the enemy, but the people are real. They're just living inside an illusion. A Mugen Tsukuyomi. Well, why does that sound like Naruto? They're being forced to live happily in this fake world while their life energy is being sucked out and sent to the other world. Human life energy is their main resource. That's why they invaded Earth. To stop this evil plan, Team Amaterasu brutally attacks the enemy. But this time, they're facing the elite guard,
led by General Zell herself. And it doesn't take long, Team Amaterasu is instantly defeated. Luckily, Sylvia finally shows up to help. What took her so long? Even though she's small, Sylvia's hybrid gear is massive. It's literally a Gundam. Sylvia manages to hold off the enemy, and while the enemy is distracted, Kizuna takes the opportunity to recharge the girls who are out of energy. Good thing he didn't forget to bring the love room. Kizuna enthusiastically pampers them. Hayuru and Eurecia get their energy maxed out and head back to the fight. But the problem is Aine. She's still scared to be pampered because she doesn't want to remember her past. But thanks to the seduction of this useless guy, Aine finally agrees. This time, even though her energy is full, her mind is completely broken, so she doesn't get any new powers. When they both come out of the love room, their entire team has been slaughtered by General Zell. Turns out Zell has a Sharingan that can put her enemies in a genjutsu. She makes them relive their most painful memories. Aine is immediately hit by Zell's attack. As a result, Aine turns to stone as she remembers all of her past. It's finally revealed that Aine is not from Earth. She's a resident of the other world. During the first invasion, she was injured, lost her memory, and was left behind on Earth. And it turns out she is the rightful heir to the throne of the other world. So, while his entire team is trapped in a genjutsu, Kizuna tries to fight the enemy's minions by himself, and of course, he loses. But even though he's weak, Kizuna has a strong desire to protect his girls. And that determination is felt by all the girls who are trapped in the genjutsu. They can feel Kizuna's love, and they all send their life energy to Kizuna through their feelings. Kizuna's hybrid gear explodes with power. He challenges Zell to a one-on-one, and Kizuna actually starts to win. Because of that, Zell genjutsu weakens and all the girls wake up. And now that she knows her true identity, Aine can finally use her true power. With one final attack, Aine destroys the entire enemy army and the hybrid gear being used by everyone. Not only that, but all the people trapped in the Munkin Tsukuyomi wake up from the illusion. And the portals to the other world closes permanently. With this, it seems Japan has been successfully reclaimed by humanity. Everyone is overjoyed by this victory. With Kizuna and Aine, it looks like humanity might actually be able to retake the Earth. Thanks for watching. This is Dem Recaps. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.